Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here. We're drinking beer and play a game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 315. Thank you for joining us tonight at the end, hopefully the end of an extremely busy summer. I mean, we talked about it before the end of the last episode. I've seen 3 concerts in the time since we've recorded our last episode. Like, goddamn. I've driven hundreds of miles, been places, have not been in my goddamn house that goddamn long outside of work, but yeah, been a busy boy.
Jim, you're making such good memories.
The memories are being made, Brian. There's memories out there. I know beforehand when I was going into the last show, I was like, I'm not that excited to see Nine Inch Nails. As a guy who, like I said, wasn't a huge fan of them, they put on one of the best live shows I've ever seen in my life. So if you get a
Really?
chance to see them, and even if you have like, the hits basically, go see it. It's a hell of a show. Coheed, great as always, taking back Sunday Open for them. Guy's lost his voice a little bit, but he was never known for being the best live performer anyway, so take that with a grain of salt. But, little emo trip back to the mid 2000s there, and then just saw Blink up at Woodstock. So that was pretty cool. It was very cool to be in, like, at that thing. You could kind of feel the musicality kind of thing in the air. We went and saw the Woodstock Museum, which, I'll be honest, could have been better. It was all
Okay.
right. It was all right. If you get up there, if you want to see the Woodstock Museum, it's not a must go. Like anything, I was expecting like more shit from the actual acts that were up there. And like for the most part, it was like, letters people would leave for each other, or like ticket stubs, or like a shirt a guy wore. Like only like one
Hmm.
guy's guitar was on display. So it's like, this is kind of little on the lame side.
Yeah, I'm trying to think I don't want to use the term the value in a Woodstock museum, but like I guess there's a niche for everything. You can have a museum about anything. I guess Woodstock was a historic event, and yeah, kind of like you see museums for everything. They always show you like clothes, letters. Like when you go to museums of old homes, I don't know what to expect, but I'm always like, oh, cool. Dishware, cups, chairs. You're like, I don't know why I thought I would see something else, but like I'm like, oh yeah, that's it is what it is.
Yeah, it'd be like going to like the Edgar Allan Poe house. I imagine it's just like, oh, that's the chair where he drank and cried. Oh, that's the bed where he slept and drank and cried.
Damn it, Jim. I see a pattern with you, you son of a bitch.
It's close to home, Brian.
So, Jim, speaking of drinking and crying, what are you drinking tonight?
So, it is the season. We are getting into the fall in a goddamn big way. It's 50 at night and 80 during the day. So we're in that phase
Uh-huh.
right now. And
Hmm.
that's your weather report, everybody.
God damn it, Jim.
Oh, God, the worst podcast trope. But to keep with the series, I am drinking. While I was up in New York, I grabbed a couple locals. And this one comes to us from the Catskill Brewery out of Livingston Manor, New York. And this is the Barca Boom Oktoberfest Lager. So 5.8% alcohol right there.
Ooh.
Yeah, got the old like raccoon looking head there, very orangey. I mean, this just looks straight up like a friggin' Oktoberfest lager right here. Nice light brown color, all that good stuff going on there. According to the website, it is a wait, what the hell? That's well, this is saying 5.8. The website's saying 6.8. So I don't know which is right here.
Somebody's lying.
Someone's lying to me. It's probably like 2.8. They're saying this beer is brewed with traditional malts from Munich. It pours a light brown color with a generous amount of head.
God damn it, Jim.
It is a medium
Fuck.
bodied and carries a good lacing
I want to
around the
hit you
bottom.
for that, you son of a bitch.
That's why I did it removed, baby. Your aromatics greet you with a fresh, malty sweetness. Flavors of hazelnut, soft caramel, and a hint of vanilla come through upon first sip. It's the perfect malty beverage for the cool autumn days. I'll tell you right now, all I tasted right at first was a fuckload of hazelnut. Like, it's definitely got the caramel, like almost thickness to the beer itself, but yeah, I mean, it is just a malty, nutty explosion in your mouth, basically. And, it eventually tapers off. You get little hints of the caramel that, you get this sweetness on the back end with caramel and vanilla, but hope you like to do some hazelnut in your beer.
You know, Jim, I detected just a tinge of disrespect for hazelnut out of you. Are you a Nutella hater?
No, I like Nutella. It's good.
Sounds like you just deal with it.
I mean, I don't go out of my way to have Nutella, but it's good. I don't
Okay.
go out of my way to have peanut butter or jelly either. They're all delicious here and there. I finish it Uncrustable when my kid doesn't want it. I'm not an animal here, Brian.
All
But
right,
yeah,
all right.
you know what? I mostly like have this stuff when my kid finishes it, but whenever she has Nutella, she just houses it. There's nothing left. So no scraps left over for good old daddy.
Um, man, I just had Uncrustable, and now you made me want more. Like 2 weekends ago, I was at my friend's place, and damn, damn it, Jim! Now you get me hungry. Um, but yeah,
It-
no, that sounds like a beer I would love. Nutella, hazelnut. I that's just a great flavor to me. Um, I am going basically the opposite end of that spectrum, Chambers, with Tired Hands, Oblivex. Yeah, Oblivex double IPA.
Ooh,
Really awesome can art. Kind of has a mummy Vecna look to it with the electricity around it. Let's see what this says. The beer in this can is hyper fresh, unfiltered, and fragile. Keep cold. Oh yeah, please recycle. Thought there'd be something more there. Um, let's see. Percentage. Why do they do this? Why do they not put it on here? That pisses me off. It tastes heavier. I'm gonna guess in the 6 or 7% range. So yeah, it's a beefy boy. Anything if you had to I know I've talked about Tired Hands a lot. Have you actually tried stuff from them?
yeah, I've had them before. I can't remember what I've had from them, but I've definitely had them before.
Yeah, I'm trying to think they're most famous, but I my mind just went blank for a second. Um,
Were they the one with the rapey brewmaster?
oh god damn it, Jim, why'd you describe it like that? I feel like there was too many breweries like that.
Local, Brian. I'm talking local here. The local raper.
Ye I think they did have that creepy ass dude. So yes. Um fuck, dude, it's killing me. I think it was called Alien Crush. I can't remember. They were the ones that were like uh kind of perfected the milkshake IPA, but all their IPAs are really good. They used to have lines around the block. I still have never had anything bad, but I think they're a little too IPA heavy because there's just that's the kind of the only style I noticed. Now I know there's variations with it. Still pretty damn good overall. So I would say try it out, but you're gonna spend some money for just a 4 pack.
Yeah, everything I've
So
had
be
from them
aware.
was good, but it's just like, yeah, I could use a little variety in my life here. It's like, oh, another IPA. Oh, a double IPA. Oh, a hazy IPA. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, New England IPA. Yeah. How about a lager? How
Yeah.
about a pilsner? Hey, look, another IPA. Great.
Damn it, Jim. Listen, new Jimmy likes IPAs. Don't act like you don't.
I like IPAs. I like them just fine.
You know what? There's a lot of disrespect in your voice tonight for
What
Nutella and
disrespect?
IPAs.
What disrespect? There's no disrespect.
I don't like your goddamn Karen attitude, and we'll get to that in a second.
Right, right. If you know me, you know that I enjoy the bare minimum, and there's nothing more bare minimum from a craft brewery than an IPA. All right.
God damn it. Well, speaking of bare minimum, let me first applaud you. You finally got over some footage to me for X-Men, but your gaming has been taking a hit because you're Mr. Busy Pants. So what have you better tell me you've made some progress elsewhere in this past week and a half ish timeline.
So, do you want the truth, or do you want what actually happened?
Tell me the truth, Jim. I always want the truth.
Not a lot. Uh, Maybe one night where I played like 3 games of StarCraft. I spent like 2 hours exploring more in a big open area that I had never explored before in fucking Prince of Persia. You know what it took off, Bry? No percentage it took off? That like hour and a half that I spent doing that?
Wait. Last time we talked, you were in like the 30 some percent. So I'm going to say you spent an hour and a half. You took off 2% more.
In that hour and a half, Brian, I took off 0.6% of the game.
What the fuck are you doing in that game?
But Brian, the even better part is I played for about a half hour earlier, going through the I guess where I was supposed to go part, and now I'm at 49%.
Oh, so you just jump. So maybe it's like, yeah, like probably the main story will take you up to 80% or something. And every time you hit a mission, it's like an auto milestone, and everything else is like probably very incremental for collectibles or exploration sake.
Yeah. Oh, I'll say it is. It might be 90-10 percentage there with the fucking amount of time I spent just like, ooh, new room. Ooh, new guy to fight. Ooh, new this. Ooh, new ability. Cool. 0.6%. This game's never going to end. But yes, I'm just about the
Wow.
50% mark of that game. I just have to blow through it and get it done. I've been dicking with it all summer. I just got to get it done. And and you know what? There's been one other game, and Bri, you're gonna love to hear about this. You'll be so happy to hear about this.
I'm already
Everybody's
mad.
got Hot Shots. Recently came out, and I've always been a huge fan of the Hot Shots golf series. So I gave her a download. I popped it in, and I'm just like, it's like an old friend. It's like a hug from grandma. It's if you like Hot Shots, it's more Hot Shots. Um, if you're an old fan of the series, jumping back in, I would suggest putting it on classic control scheme because the new felt a little wonky. But Bri, this game, Bri, to me, it's already a 10 out of 10. And it's a 10 out of 10 for one very simple reason, Bri. Did you happen to see my tweet about it?
That you can skip the story mode
You
and
can
just
skip the story mode. You have the quick gameplay mode. I don't have to sit through any story. I don't have to learn about any
Jim.
characters. I don't have to deal with their bullshit. I can just get right to the challenges and the story and just plow through the game without any of that other bullcrap.
Can I make more of a bold statement, Jim? A Hot Shots game does not need a story mode. I'm just gonna
I
say it.
would agree.
Like I'm fine if it has a tournament ladder or what, yeah, like some kind of like matchup, even if it was like tiny little funny because of the style of the game, having never played it. If they're all very characterized, kind of like Road Rash back in the day, where you beat a guy and it's like characterized, I could be okay with a cutscene. It does not need a story mode. Not every game needs a goddamn story mode. As someone who appreciates story and plays story heavy games, I don't need story modes in a lot of games. Hotshots being fucking paramount of games that do not need story modes. So yeah, I support you on that one. Kind of. Except for the fact that now there's no chance you're beating all your resolution games.
Not a
Like
chance in hell.
I don't know what's left on your list, but no chance you're getting there.
I mean, like Black Myth Wukong's on there, Stellar Blade's on there. Those two, probably not even going to start. I have Astrobot sitting over here. I just installed it too, so I'll be starting that up. But
That's a
luckily,
pretty short game though, I
yeah, I think it's
think.
only supposed to be like 7 to 10 hours, something like that. I think even think to like platinum it, it's 15, but I'm not going to worry about that shit. But yeah, so Metroid Prime Remastered, I know that's a quick one, so I could
Yeah.
probably bang that out too. But yeah, a couple of the bigger boys, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not, you know what, Jim? If I was a betting man, I would say you're probably not making it.
Right, I would say betting on me to finish this is like me betting on crypto. So
Never good. Well, Chambers, I have still been hitting it fairly hard. I took a little detour. I'm still very much in God of War mode. I was, man, when I say I was hitting that, I think when we talked last time, I was like 16 hours in after only a few days. And
yeah,
now like,
you're like in a hardcore gaming mode for that like couple weeks.
yeah, and it I'm still there, but it's slowed down. Excuse me. I it's tough for me to talk about the God of War game for you, but in both games you basically have to visit, call it 9 worlds, 9 realms, and like I don't want to call it a Metroidvania, but it has the element of like,
A lot of
hey,
backtracking.
yeah, you can go back and then try to find shit, and it's not necessary to beat the game, but it's like, oh, if you want to upgrade your blades, like chaos or your axe or this or that, then you should go back. And you know me, like I'm definitely not even gonna try to come close to 100%ing it, but I gotta scratch that itch, Jim. I can't like leave a world at 40% when it's like mostly exploration. So I've been fucking with that. I shared something on Facebook, and it's funny because it actually hit my nostalgia when it was like the maps we grew up on, and it was a Call of Duty. It's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
stay
yeah,
here as
yeah.
long as you want. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I have my Xbox One and or Series X, and I still say Xbox does it better than any company. I can still play my 360 game on that system. All it does is auto update to HD version or whatever, or like it makes it compatible with the system. downloaded it right away. It was like 4 gigs, which was a miracle. Tried to hop on servers. There's still people, Jim. There's still like 1,000 people playing. I'll say Call of Duty 4, the very original, not
Oh,
even the
wow.
remake. Yeah, so 1,000 people tried hopping on. I did not. Unfortunately, I can't report any success in getting into a lobby because you'd get in there. It's like 4 dudes, and somebody will ultimately leave. You need at least 6. I fucked around for like 20 minutes, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll pick a different
Were
night
you
when it
just trying
was
like team deathmatch, or does everyone do like free for all at that point?
team deathmatch seems to be. It was like team deathmatch was number one, and then yeah, one of the search and destroys. But team deathmatch had like of the 1,000 like 800 players
Hmm.
because I was gonna do domination. It was like 30 players. I was like, yeah, I'm probably not getting into that one.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that wants to go back and fuck around and try all the Call of Duty, see like which ones still have active servers. And back in the day, I mentioned it. I went back to the original Call of Duty and Call of Duty 2 and 3. I was able to get on those servers with like 18 people and like still get some like crazy footage. Um, so yeah, I tried messing around with that, didn't go nowhere. The one thing I didn't download, and I do have free access to, that I know will take all my time, is obviously Silksong. Now that that's been fucking released, I know we're gonna talk something about that a little bit later, but like you, I'm right there with the well, unlike you, I should say, I'm right there with my resolution games. I finished God of War. I got 2 more left. I got Hellblade and Black Myth Wukong. I'm like, you know what? I'm dedicated to getting those done. But I can tell you, once I get those done, I'll probably go right into Silksong just because I loved Hollow Knight. It was really good, but I know that's a time sink like a motherfucker. So I know what I'm expecting with that one. But before I do any of those, before even resolution games, now that you finally got me to footage chambers, we will finally be able to get together if Jim can stop going to goddamn concerts.
This Saturday's the last one. Last one.
Damn it, Jim.
One
Too
more.
many.
One and I'm
Too.
done.
Disavow. I disavow. We will finally be able to record X-Men, and then we'll go right. We'll start getting the footage for Max Payne, and we're doing that thanks to you guys who help support us on Patreon. So, Chambers, what questions do we have this week?
Questions that you can put in over at patreon.com/drinkabeerandplayagame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question we will answer on each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. Quick side note, the corner's back, Brian. The crust is out. Get your old underwear. Maybe put them on for old time's sake. Might be a little tough, might be a little tight, but you know what? You can enjoy rubbing your dick on people with us as we discuss another deviant in the Smash community. So there's a little teaser for you. But back to the task at hand. Questions from this week. We have one from good old Bird Retinas. Have you had a food and drink combination that you'll never try again, or just hit the palate wrong?
Ooh, food and drink. I've definitely had foods, definitely had drinks. I like the question of the combo. You know what? I think I'll go out on a limb, and it's probably because I'm not really a fan of either. Is everyone says when you have seafood, you should have white wine with it. Not really a fan of white wine, um, unless it's like in my mussel sauce. Um, but yeah, like I remember I went to like a legit seafood place. I was like, yeah, I'll do the pairing you're supposed to versus what I would really normally drink. And I don't know, like the combo of the wine with the fish, it didn't leave a great taste in my mouth. So I don't know if I'll ever go. Like I would need to go to like a like 5-star restaurant and they'd be like, no, I'm telling you, this is the wine to try with this thing. I'm not doing it again. The white wine and fish ain't for me. Didn't do it for me. But then again, I'm a hater of white wine in general. So yeah, that would probably be my combo I wouldn't go back to.
See, I have a problem here because
You have
I,
many problems, but go on.
fair, but I am a glutton. And when you are a glutton, there's not a lot of things that you don't really go back to. So it's a tough one for me. I've had a lot of, right. See, I have a finely tuned body, an iron stomach, you could say. Iron in the sense that it is coated in iron and everything just goes right through it. So I could have my most delicious meal ever. I could have the worst meal I've ever had. No matter what, I'm going to be pooping in 15 minutes. So I can't go off personal experience. So I'm going to go with a recent experience I had with the family. Speaking of making memories. So when we were doing our trip to Myrtle Beach this year, on the way back, nice 10 to 12 hour ride ahead of us, we were like, we're in the South. We should stop at a Bojangles. We've never had that before. So we stop at a Bojangles. We get some food, and it was all right at best. I don't really see the hype. Same thing happened to me with Hardee's. And much like Hardee's and Bojangles, they're not the most well kept up of places, you could say. So, no one in our little party really finished our meals completely, one could say. So as we're driving, all my daughter ate when we were there was the mac and cheese. Right, what do you think she washed down her mac and cheese with?
From a Bojangles. Well, did she get her drink from Bojangles or was it a drink you already had on your person?
From Bojangles.
Um, Having never been to a Bojangles either, that's the chicken place, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did she get like orange soda?
Nah, she doesn't drink soda. She got a chalky milk.
Oh,
So,
oh.
yep, because chocolate milk's one of her favorite drinks. And when she gets it, she always wants the chalky milk. So she didn't like her chicken, didn't like her biscuit, didn't like the fries. Liked the mac and cheese, so she ate the mac and cheese. We're like, just eat something. Crucial mistake. So we have Bojangles mac and cheese with whatever Southern brand, pre-bottled chalky milk was in there. And we start driving. And about 10 minutes later, we hear from the back, I don't feel good. We're like, you're right back there? She's like, yeah, I think I'm fine. And she basically went, no, I'm not. Immediately.
Oh.
So luckily, she had her favorite Jack and Sally Nightmare Before Christmas blanket on her, and that caught most of it. So, of course, we immediately pulled over to the first gas station we could find. Had to throw out her favorite blanket, which luckily Halloween's around the corner, so we can finally get her a new one. And did everything we could to try and mitigate not having to smell puke in our car for the next 10 hours.
And that's not a smell that easily dissipates.
No, it's not.
And of course, you're probably driving on highways, so you can't really keep the windows down because it has that wind tunnel effect.
Oh, it sure did. It was 600 miles of wind tunnel, Brian.
So what lesson did we learn?
The lesson was learned is sometimes there's too much dairy. And don't mix your mac and cheese with your chalky milk. That's my word of advice to you. Any parents out there? I know we've got us some parents out there. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but use your heads. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. All right.
So she didn't like that, but did you at least get the chicken from Bojangles?
I had the chicken sandwich. It was all right.
Just okay.
Yeah.
Nothing special.
Yeah, it had a little bit of Cajun spice to it and all that shit. Yeah, it's funny because she was like, she thought she threw up because she had one bite of their chicken tender and she said it was too spicy. And she's like, I think the spice did to me. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's the 10 pounds of dairy we had at once.
Yeah. It was just a pound of, and if it's Southern, man, if they make mac and cheese like they do, that shit is probably so coated in butter or oil. So it's extra greasy mac and cheese, probably.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
And I mean, it's fast food Southern mac and cheese. So, like, any pretense of anything remotely not going to rip your asshole apart is just out the window.
I like that question. Damn it, Jim.
Yes, once again, thank you to everyone for the support. Like Brian said, we're going to try and meet up next week. We'll do X-Men 1 and 2. Get those reviews going for you so we can finally get them out there. And always, try to check it out. The summer's mercifully coming to an end so we can get back to all that extra content that you good people have been paying for and that you deserve.
Yeah, thank you guys. Truly, truly appreciate it. And remember, please get your questions in if you haven't, and feel free, load up if you haven't over the past couple of weeks. So thank you guys.
Yep. Speaking of loading up, for you video game collectors out there, why don't you fill some holes, why don't you? Why don't you load up on that collection, get some deals in you. Head on over to our buddy, ghettogamer.net. And if you like the NES, if you like the Super NES, if you need some games at some good prices, if you need some controllers, if you need some cables, if you need some systems themselves, head on over there. He's got a great stock, good selection, and even better prices. Use our code DBPG to get 20% off your first order. You can say no to that. And speaking of saying no, maybe you'll learn to say no. Maybe you'll learn to say yes. Maybe you'll just learn something when you head on over to Skillshare and use our code DBPG30, and you can get 30% off 1 year of a class. So you can learn some recipes, you can learn some history, you can, well, I was going to say some slurs about Brian, but I'll be good during the ad section. So either way, going on over there, just go better yourselves and use our code.
And Chambers, I'm on Ghetto Gamer right now. For all the slurs you say against me, I want you to buy me Super R Type, and I will buy you Beethoven.
I mean, who could say no to that?
I'm just saying. And he just restocked his N64 supply, so you can get some games for that too.
Well, I'll be goddamned, Brian.
Nah, but for real, check out Ghetto Gamer. He's a friend of the site, as Jim said. It's a great place to start if you want reliable games that you're not going to break your neck prices. And obviously, with Skillshare, like Jim said, it's never too late to learn. Jim could have learned a little bit about culinary, what not to mix.
I could have
He
learned to
can do
not
some
mix dairy with
classes.
dairy. I could see. I could
Yeah,
have learned something, prevented some disaster.
don't mix, don't. What was the thing you always used to hate, Jim? You can't rhyme there with there.
Maybe I can finally be the linguist I've always wanted to be.
But for real, guys, thank you guys for support. Check out those sites. Make sure you use DBPG for those percentages off. Thank you guys.
Yes.
All right, Chambers. So I started to talk about it, but obviously I would argue one of the hottest things to come out since we recorded is Silksong.
No, it's the
Surprised?
hottest. It's the hottest. It's been no other game that anyone's been talking
I
about.
know.
It's fucking Silksong. That's all. That's all it is. Life
Took
is
people
Silksong
by
for
storm,
everybody.
Jim. I mean, it was only delayed forever. A lot of people thought maybe it's never coming out. A lot of people had tons of speculations. And kind of out of nowhere, they're like, yo, it's going to come out in 2 weeks. I mean, this is a game since 2019 it's been announced. So it's been years and years in
6
development.
years of hype, Brian.
Yeah. And for good reason. I mean, I don't ever love anything too universal, but like for Metroidvanias, in any legit list, Hollow Knight's going to be in the top three. You can have debates. It could be one, but like it is good for a reason. So obviously much acclaimed. Like the sequel is going to be whatever it's going to be. They don't have doubt it's going to be bad. I've purposely tried my best to stay very far away from legit reviews because I want to play it and I don't want to like go in there thinking it's going to be better. It's going to be worse. But yeah, a lot of gaming journalists and the gaming industry as a whole, Jim, seems like they were a little upset with the surprise drop of this game.
Welcome to the return of Journo's Mad, everybody. Because when you think of why takes, well, there's a lot of people you can think of, but one of them is always going to be coming from goddamn Polygon. Because Polygon had a nice little article shortly after the surprise announcement of Silksong's release. The gaming industry deserved more lead time before Silksong. It's so this comes to us from Ari Notice, and basically this is a long-winded thing saying, wah, they just dropped it on us. Wah, we haven't had time to really review it or hype it up. Wah, it's making it tough for other. He's trying to make the argument that it makes it tough and upends plans for all these other indie games because obviously nothing's going to be comparing to Silksong. It's going to trounce all the sales. It's going to get all the hype and attention and shit like that. And he's trying to make the argument that Silksong doing a shadow drop basically was a kind of a shitty move to his independent gaming brethren. So, so he talks about how two games slated to release on the same window, horror game Clover Pit and Metroidvania Atania Lucas, were both delayed, and more companies have been following suit. Devolver Digital moved Baby Steps, which is the next game from Walking Sim maestro Bennett Foddy, back 2 weeks. The Little Witch in the Woods, which everyone's been looking forward to, obviously, that's been delayed back to September 18th. And what do you call it? The most scathing announcement of a delay came from Demon School publisher Eastbird Games, which pushed the Persona-inspired tactics RPG out to November 19th and lamented in a news release, crueler still, that we should find out with such short notice. We aren't mad at Yeasbird, but at the situation. Oh, so Necrosoft Games said in a statement on Blue Sky that the delay was a publisher-driven decision, noting that we aren't mad at Yeasbird for the situation. Dropping the GTA of indie games with 2 weeks' notice makes everyone freak out. Team Cherry did not respond. And so he goes, I'm sorry for the inside baseball, but the surprise announcement of a release date for a game this important also scatters the gaming press. This is where I think the real meat of this article comes in. Over the past few weeks, we at Polygon have been sketching out some editorial plans for September. Part of this process involves identifying which games our staff should cover, and then determining which of these staffers actually has the time and bandwidth to cover them appropriately. Whether that's tentpoles like Borderlands 4, fucking cares, or comparatively under the radar games like Hiragami. It's a balancing act, yet we strive to devote as much time as we can to unearthing hidden gems you may not have otherwise heard of. We also want to provide coverage of games that we know, thanks to data tools that Polygon readers love to read about. And now that Silksong is here, guess what we have to devote the bulk of our coverage to? And yeah, too many games come out for everyone website to write about everything. And he, goes on at the end to say they're well within their rights to do it at once and with its new game. And given the buzz, no matter how or when it comes out, there's no chance that this thing doesn't light up the charts. But for years since Hollow Knight first broke indie game containment, Team Cherry has gained power. And here's one for the class. What's the other half of that phase? Oh, fuck yourself.
Yeah, Jim, I went through a cascade of emotions when I clicked on the link. I saw that the industry deserved more lead time. At first, I was pure rage with that title, and I was like, "Are they bitching because they didn't get like?" My immediate thought was, "Did they not? Did they feel they didn't get enough time to get like early review copies?" I thought he was talking about journalists. Then when he started explaining it, I went, okay, I guess that would kind of suck for indie game because he's not wrong. And obviously he uses quotes from the developers themselves. Like, yeah, this is like no one wants to be in a blast radius. It's kind of like summer blockbuster movies. Like there's certain movies, other movies don't want to come out on the same weekend because your numbers are gonna get fucking tanked. So I was like,
Right.
oh
Right. Would you
yeah.
say Team Cherry dropped a cherry bomb into the toilet and all these
That,
other games were the people in the other stalls?
you know what, Jim? No, I wouldn't. But you would say that, and
Well,
I would
fuck
agree with
me.
you. But I read that and I went, okay, like that's not a terrible point. But to your point, you get to the end and it's kind of like a sob story for like, now we gotta devote all of our time. And I'm like, oh, you took the true if I don't like using the term victims, you took the true victims, which were the other indie developers who like now have to huddle real quick, move their shit. Like they're the ones going to be affected with their bottom line. You just have to play a game you probably wanted to play and cover it more. Wah.
You know what?
Like,
No, it isn't even that, Bry. They wanted weeks of hype articles for easy clicks.
oh, sure. Well,
That's what
yeah,
they're pissed about.
exactly.
They are pissed about all the money they didn't get through clicks. Bry, do you know how much rage bait they could have put into the ether
Mm-hmm.
in the months leading up to an announced date? Do you know what they could have
Exactly.
done?
Well, yeah, that's actually a great point.
Right.
And
They would have
somebody
had
had,
the was Hollow Knight really that good article. They would have had
Mhm.
the should Hollow Knight have a difficulty option article, which surprise, surprise, it does, and no one fucking cares.
Yeah.
They would have had all this other bullshit. 10 games to play while you wait for Hollow Knight. Crap like that.
Hmm.
They could have had the whole plethora, Bry, and they didn't get to do it because the developer did what it wanted to do.
One of my favorite comments in there was like, I don't mean this rudely, but there have already been 5 articles in the last 5 days from Polygon about various games delaying release of Silksong, and each of those devote a minimum of 2 sentences just saying that Silksong is coming out. Oh, and there are games being moved. Like, that's perfect. Like, they're being called out on their own shit, and it's kind of like, yeah, man. Um, I think you and I are full 100%. The dude who wrote this article, Polygon, get off your goddamn soapbox. I don't want to hear you bitching. I do have sympathy in my heart for the indie developers who had to move their shit, and I don't blame them for moving their shit. And honestly, I don't know what the right window is to move your game to not still be overshadowed by this because it is huge, right? Like from an indie perspective, it would be the equivalent of like they're just like, hey, if they said in the middle of December, like, yeah, in January we're releasing a new Legend of Zelda, people would be like, wait, what? Like in the indie world, it's equivalent to that. So
which Nintendo did when Breath of the Wild first came out.
yeah, which was a shitty move. Yes, the company can do whatever they want. They don't owe anything. But when you wield this kind of leverage, and especially like Breath of the Wild, everyone was like, "Fuck, what was the difference between that and the previous Zelda game?" Like many years, it wasn't like a dedicated like, "Hey, we're coming out with a game. We're coming out with a game. We're coming," and then boom, like this
Yeah,
one,
there was no actual real new Zelda release on the Wii U besides like Hyrule Warriors, which is,
yeah.
just a Dynasty Warriors game.
So that was even more crazy in my opinion. But this one, like, we're getting there, delay, 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 and then just boom. So yeah, Art Polygon, you sons of bitches, way to try and take the steam from the people who should actually be mad, in my opinion. But that's what people do. People want to be the victim. People want to just paint certain pictures. And shouldn't that take us north, Jim?
Hell of a transition right there, Brian. So,
Should we
uh,
migrate to this article? See what I did there?
yeah, that I don't have anything better than that. So, for those of you unaware, because this was kind of a come and go hot topic of the week for about a couple days, a couple weeks ago, and I'll get to why. So, the game is called Take Us North. It is an interactive narrative that follows the journeys of migrants and asylum seekers on their way to cross the US Mexico border. This was put up on Kickstarter with a goal of $30,000, and it reached its goal, getting up to 59,448 off of 694 backers. So, Anima Interactive is a socially conscious indie game studio. With video games as the largest entertainment medium in the world, we believe in the immense untapped opportunity for interactive media to ignite positive cultural and social change. In our debut original project, Take Us North, it is an interactive narrative experience inspired by real world stories that immerses its audience in the poignant journeys of migrants,
Joysies.
of migrants and asylum seekers on their way to cross the U.S. Mexico border. God damn it. We recognize this is a heavy hitting and emotionally charged subject. However, we are committed to humanizing the migrant and refugee experience and portraying it sensitively, respectfully, and authentically. Our goal is to foster greater awareness and empathy around social complex topics that are unfortunately often reduced in mainstream media to statistics or diverse rhetoric. And then it goes from there, showing how a lot of it is them interviewing actual migrants, talking about the stories and getting actual people's experiences that were, immigrated in, most likely illegally. So, with the rapidly evolving policies and enforcement, migration and immigration stand as some of the most urgent and critical issues of our time. They strive to contribute to broader cultural conversation and shift hearts and minds around this crucial subject matter. Bada 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 bada. So they go on to say, Take Us North is not about pushing diverse politics. It is about debunking myths around migration, challenging misinformation, and harnessing the power of the world's largest media platform, video games, for good. So, and yeah, they kind of show some clips from the game, which very simple, cell shaded ish graphics. It is a narrative depth, strategic traversal, and decision making with stealth mechanics to meaningfully connect players to the migrant experience, which I mean, kind of in game footage of Nogales, Mexico, a border town. I think that's what it's called. And yeah, people on mountainsides going through the deserts, trying to make their way across the border, avoiding, all the agents and stuff like that, trying to survive all that stuff, interspersed with a lot of actual, interviews and all that kind of bullcrap. And, Bri, this might come as a shock to you, but in these, some could say somewhat politically charged times, this game got a lot of attention, one could say. Most notably, the attention of one of the biggest streamers, I think right now, the biggest streamer on Twitch, if I'm remembering correctly, good old Asmongold, who, he streams every goddamn day. He, will clip it to his YouTube channel, which, I mean, his freaking YouTube channel that just clips his Twitch streams has 4 million subscribers. And he put up a 30-minute commentary video basically called immigrant, the illegal migrant simulator is insane, where he goes and gives his opinion basically. And for those who don't
Yeah,
know
it
about
should be
Asmongold,
noted. Yeah, well, he also what he's watching is them presenting at Gamescom. So
yes,
they're presenting on the game and I apologize for not remembering her name, but like basically I guess that lead developer is talking through it and she's giving, I will say, this feels more like a kind of a college presentation than a game because she's really diving into the development of it, the interview she did, the history, like all the pieces, and then at the end, I don't even think she's able to like. I think she ran out of time and like wasn't able to show the trailer or something. Like there was an issue with that. So like you know, Jim pointed out. I think we've talked about this guy. I know of this guy, and I only know end up with controversies. Clearly, from what I can recall, he was very right wing, whatever. I don't care about that type of shit.
he's
But
leaned heavily that way in the last like year or two. Yes,
yeah, he is just kind of trying to quote unquote on the fly debunk everything she's saying about, like Jim said, this developer is trying to say like, hey, this is migrant stories, and we're trying to dispel the bunk that they're all illegals and are all criminals, and he's trying to now debate her like every word.
vicariously.
Um,
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I can't like I there's no entertainment value in watching this. Like he is just not for me, I'll say. Um, I want to talk a minute though about the game, and you touched on it. The game itself, it's rough looking. I'm gonna be honest,
it
and
looks like a first effort. That is for goddamn sure.
it looks like a first effort. And I feel like with that, the amount of effort she put in to do research, to do this, to do that, like, wouldn't the most compelling thing and knowing your audience probably be to do like a documentary? Even a documentary, like a mini docu series on YouTube, or if you get Netflix or Hulu or something, like they're telling a very clear story. This game you would hate, you especially, Jim, because all it is story. It's
Right.
like story, story, story. Probably move a little bit. Like
You know what? At least for something like this, if I ever played it, which I mean, let's
you
be
won't.
honest, I'm not going to get around to
Like
it.
that's not even pretend.
Right, exactly. But like at least going into a game like this, I would know what I'm getting into at that point. It's like a couple months ago when I played that like free 10-minute iPhone game that like Lilia and the Shadows of War, which is basically, the guy telling his story as a Palestinian, basically, trying to get away from Israel and shit like that. Very politically charged, trying to tell their side of a story, but the gameplay was minimal at best, more about just telling the narrative and tugging at the heartstrings. So
Yeah.
if I know what I'm getting into, I'm fine with that. If I'm playing a fucking golf game, I don't need a goddamn story.
Well, and here's my, I guess, I don't want to say a term problem. I just made it clear. Not a fan of Asmongold. Generally, everything we've ever covered on him, I try and watch his stuff. It's definitely not for me. Um, the point though of this game and his point of like, hey, she's saying the game is not meant to be politically charged. But let's face it, it very much is. And that presentation, I think, solidified that position. So if you were going to say this game is not politically charged, her presentation, I feel like, took all the air out of the room with that statement and proved it was. It's like you have to really lean heavily and like, no, it clearly is truly not. Like I'm just here to talk about the gameplay and talk about this. Um, so yeah, is there an agenda with the game? Sure, like you're telling a story, a differing story, uh, of migrants who yeah, they're not all criminals, but like you know what you're trying to achieve, and you knew you were gonna run into people like this. What I found interesting was after Asmund made this video and stuff, the developers like just straight up took down their Twitter
Yep.
and took down a lot of their stuff, which is
They went to blue sky basically.
yeah, which okay. I mean I get it. You don't want to deal with the bullshit hate, and I'm not supporting like being hated, but I'm also of that opinion. Like if you're a developer, like isn't that term like any press is good press? and you want people just talking about your game, because for everyone that supports and is on Asmon's side, you're going to get that opposition on Twitter as well that's like doesn't like them and will go out of their way now to support the game and be like, fuck you. So if you remove yourself from it completely, you don't get that opportunity, I feel like.
Yeah, and I
I,
mean, Blue Sky, it's safe haven for the extreme left and all that stuff, but
but
but the user base, like it's another also ran from when everyone always goes, I'm leaving Twitter. No one leaves Twitter for long. They always come back because you go to these other things and no one's there, and the only ones who are hardcore into that site are not all of them, obviously a lot
it's
of
an echo
people,
chamber.
but it is an echo
It,
chamber.
it's
Yes.
an echo chamber of everyone who hated Twitter and dealing with people on the right, which is it is fine. But to your point, you're you're I mean the reach is like not even joking, what, a fraction or a percent of what Twitter still is.
Oh, Brian, I can tell you, like, we have a Blue Sky account. I mean, I'm the social media guy. And I can tell you right now that since their move, one, they're not even doing a good job of promoting themselves on Blue Sky. They maybe post once a week, if that.
Mm,
And their posts, I mean, if they stayed on Twitter, they could have easily been getting hundreds of likes and retweets, both for
easily.
good and for bad, with every post. They were the hot button topic. On Blue Sky, let's see, 25 days ago, 14 likes. 25 days ago, again, 9 likes. 14 likes, 19 days ago. They're nominated for a Wings Award, 28 likes. So it's like, one, you're not posting nearly enough to capitalize on this. And two, like, I get Twitter can be a very, very shitty and tough place. But
Yeah.
if you're trying, fucking, if you believe in your product and fucking say, no, fuck this. Like pull an Alyssa Mercanti and double down. Like make
Well,
yourself the villain to these people, and you'll get your allies, and you'll get your buys out of spite, and you'll even get your buys from your haters for the sole purpose of looking at your game.
that's kind
Like
of my point. Like their publication team or whoever's running it, if you want to draw an analogy, the right wings are the agents. You're trying to stay in here. Like your struggle on Twitter can be an analogy for your game. Like I don't know. Like you could
it would be
easily
very
get,
easy to make a sympathy thing with it. Yes,
yes, like get, if your whole purpose was to get it out there, deal with the bullshit from guys that you knew were gonna hate it. Um, but then again, I don't know. Some people can also say, fuck it. I'm not willing to even deal with that. That's your right too. Do what you want to do. But like if you want to succeed, and granted, yo, they killed it in their fundraising goal. So maybe they're not worried about it. I don't know. I just
and
feel like, unfortunately, this will be something that fully fizzles out. This will be the biggest part of this game, unfortunately, for them. And it is what it is.
and all that controversy was already 2, 3 weeks ago, and no one's talking about it now. No one cares anymore. Everyone's already moved on to other shit. Like everyone's, both sides. Like we're all too busy talking about YouTube and everyone having their views just slashed in half, basically, over the last like couple of weeks. That no one's talking about this shit anyway. But here is one also last thing we can talk about with this. A huge, pardon me, a huge argument around this game was, does a game like this, should it be made with the subject matter at hand? Because the right wing are just going, well, this is promoting an illegal activity, so this shouldn't be made. This shouldn't be allowed to be around. Right. What are your thoughts on that?
Any game could, well, let me rephrase. Not any game should be made. We've talked about Steam games that I'm not in agreement with. Um,
Old
any
prude Brian, old Bible burning Brian with his problem about the boobies in the games.
Jim, I'm not even willing to say the shit that shouldn't be games that is games, because I don't want this demonetized any further. But what I will say is
Look,
this,
obviously, if there is PDF file simulator, then that shouldn't be a game. All right, and I just said
yeah,
PDF. No one
or
likes Adobe. That's what I said. No,
or
YouTube can't
rap
do
with
anything.
an E. Like a lot of those weird simulators were on goddamn Steam. Like
Obviously,
I
yes. Obviously,
I don't
they're
think,
obvious.
yeah.
Yes.
But to me, everything else should be a game. I mean, Call of Duty, we love very much, had a mission where you shoot up an airport. And yes, you could skip it. But let's be honest, that's fucking crazy. So, should so, I don't like the term should. You can make whatever fucking game you want. There's a niche out there. Um, uh, Call it what you will, ignorance. I don't think anyone who's like on the cusp of deciding if they're going to try to get into America is playing video games, and this is now going to solidify their choice. I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
going to say that.
I mean, yeah,
Call me bold.
it's not for them. It's for the general populace here to, you know.
Which is, but you're never that game is not going to shift someone's perspective of like, you know what, maybe I am being too hard on them. It is a that is a game that is going to specifically go to an audience that already supports it. I'm going to say that. And the ones that don't support it will do what Asmund did and be like, this is terrible. This is one of the worst things. This is enforcing the idea of like, illegal immigration. So I think it's fine. I just think know your audience and video games. I've said it before. We talked about it with that game you played, the one in Palestine. Like
Yeah,
when you're too politically charged, man, if you can figure out a way to tell a story through good gameplay and you don't have to promote it politically, that's so much more powerful. If you go in there with the agenda, it's going to crash and fail every time, is my opinion. Just the same way, if there was a game made specifically like to what was Alex Jones' game? That like freedom. Like if you go in too hard
yeah.
with right leaning shit too, you're gonna fail just as hard. You can't go in like you can have them subtly a message subtly put in there, which might tell the story in a different light and through this or through that. But like when it's up front, you're gonna polarize immediately, and you're probably gonna be a failure. So I'm just going to suggest don't polarize immediately. Figure out a creative way instead of telling the actual story with the actual places, you make it an alien world and you make it like an analogy and you do all the same shit kind of like Avatar and all the other like
Or
you do
District
it.
9 or shit like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you put
Get
less
creative in that way.
yeah, you put less of a target on yourself basically that way.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
let people figure it out.
I just find it funny that all the people being like, they can't make this, it's promoting something illegal. It's like, motherfucker, Grand Theft
GTA.
Auto's the biggest franchise in the world.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So yeah, like obviously, I think this is a game that it should be made not for because of like I think everyone should see the story, but if someone has a story to tell, then yeah, fucking tell it. So
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
all for that.
but yeah, like Brian, like we've kind of talked about, they took the wind out of their own sails, I think. So we probably won't hear about it again until it actually releases, if it does, because just because you got backed, that's no guarantee that a game's actually going to come out.
Yeah. It'll come and go and they got their money. So the ones that backed them, get your game. Hope you enjoy it. You know you're gonna get hate. Like the game's gonna get hate. That's all I can say.
Yep. And speaking of backing things, and speaking of hate, Brian, let's another return. Another returning topic, Brian. Let's check back in with the good old Smash JT and Lister McConty lawsuit. And besides the normal jabs they're doing, Alyssa once again has left Twitter and she's on Blue Sky exclusively right now. But as of August 25th, Smash put in lawsuit update. Alyssa Mercanti wants to open up discovery, but my lawyer, Ron Coleman, has filed to shut it down. If the judge agrees our motions to dismiss and anti-slap are solid, this whole case dies before wasting time, money, and or, most importantly, freedom of speech. So he goes on to, throw their little court proceeding and what they're putting in there. Respectfully submits his memorandum of law in support of the motion to stay discovery pending resolution of the motion to dismiss under federal rules of civil procedure, blah, 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 as well as the motion for sanctions under New York anti-slap law. A stay of discovery is warranted because of the pending motions, if granted, would dispose of the entire case, and discovery is not necessary to resolve these motions. So, Brian, do you know what discovery is?
Yeah. So the process is basically you're showing everything. There's going to be no surprises. You're going to basically say, here's all evidence I have, here's all our files, here's all our documents. And it's a very lengthy thing because you're basically taking every piece of whatever your argument is in the case, you're giving it to the opposition so they can see everything. And now there's not going to be like, oh no, they're presenting some. You're basically eliminating the ability to like I have this document here that shows she did X, Y, or Z, or vice versa. And it's extremely lengthy because now you're basically giving a lawyer, I guess, depending on the size of their documents, like thousands and thousands and thousands of stuff online and paperwork and this and that. And they got to go through it all. And then they can talk about settlements based on their findings and all that. So it's just, it is a way to try to price out your enemy in a way and say like this is what we want to go for, and we're doing it for a reason to say like we don't want no BS pulled in the middle of the trial. um that's kind of my understanding of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, like you said, the layman's term is everyone shows their whole ass, basically. They put
Yeah,
everything out there to make their cases. And
Jim, you know what it is. Let's simplify it.
besides
It's
showing your
when,
whole ass, what's more simple than that?
well, yes, that's one way. It's when you guys decide, you know what, you're both all in and you flip your cards.
Yeah.
And now you're just playing the game and you can't do nothing. It's all right there and the cards fall where they may.
Who's got the 2-7? Who's got the pocket aces? Let's see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, of course, as Smash does, this is very creative wording because if you go through obviously anything Smash posts, it's just gonna be arguments. And if you go through the whole thing, there's procedures that was put earlier in the trial, I believe, where both sides kind of were fine with discovery. So now Smash is kind of saying he isn't because of money. Uh, but yeah, they originally saying they were fine with discovery pending that, Smash's side was going to try and just get it thrown out anyway. For the long story short of it. But of course, in his wording here, it kind of sounds like that Alyssa and her side are pushing for discovery in spite of him trying to not get to that route. And I'm sure he isn't because that's a lot more money. And as he has said up to this point, he's not spending his own money. He's just using what's been donated to him. So Discovery will add a shitload of more legal costs to the case. And he's understandably, whether you agree with him or not, trying to do everything he can to avoid that. Now, is that a sign of, oh shit, I might not win this? Because if you think you have a slam dunk, why would you try to avoid it? But, maybe playing it safe. I don't know. Who am I to say, Bry? Who am I to judge? But
Honestly, at this point, I can't like, I guess
so, real quick
it's
before you
weird
get into your
because he
point,
technically
sorry to
he's
cut,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off real quick. So the long story short for everyone out there before getting our opinions is he's trying to get it thrown out and for Alyssa to pay a penalty for a frivolous lawsuit before it goes to discovery and everyone has to show everything and spend more time and go to real trial.
Well, what's weird about this is he's technically the defendant in this case, and I feel like most of the times defendants are the ones that would request discovery because they want to see what the opposition is bringing to the table. So this is kind of like a reverse Uno card in this case. And to your point, maybe she has a lawyer that's working pro bono, and that's how, or maybe she's loaded in a way none of us understand. I don't know, but like,
Or if you listen to Smash and his side, maybe she has secret invested investors to her side. No one knows. He keeps trying to bring up who's sponsoring her. I don't really care. The facts of the case are the facts
oh,
of the case.
who? Okay, well, even though I know it's hearsay, who is he saying's potentially backing her?
I am not going to get into it at this time. I will say that
Okay.
after the thing.
Okay. All right. So it's one of those mentalities. So, you know what? Even if that's the case, then that is an interesting move by them. Yeah, the judge will determine. The only part of what I don't, how you said how he's trying to spin it is I don't understand how discovery impacts freedom of speech. That's the part where I'm like, that's a stretch.
But Brad,
Like,
this whole lawsuit is impeding his freedom of speech.
I
That's the
mean,
thing. That's the rallying
wait,
cry there, bro.
yeah, and I get it. Like, but like, yeah, like, just be upfront. This is he's gearing up for it. If they go forward with it, be the guy on the side of the road asking for money that says, "I need money for beer." Don't tell me you need it for something good. If you're gonna end up asking for more money and crowdfunding, just say it's because you're in your case. Don't say it for any other reason. Don't do freedom of speech and all this, and it's important for you. It's no. You just need money. Period.
Uh,
That's
Brian.
all.
So on that note, as of this recording of September the 8th, 2025, his most recent Give Send Go fundraising after he's already raised what was the first time? He got like 40 or $1,000, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So when he opened his second one, he put up a goal of $200,000, which when the hell was this originally put up? I forget, but it's been up for at least a month or two. Currently sitting at $71,000, close to 72. So it's not exactly flying off the shelves in the way that he was hoping, I am thinking.
That's man, that's a thing. Uh wow. Okay. I mean, I guess support who you like, but that's the fact that he raised that much is that's an indictment on our culture, Jim. That's all it is. I can't even I said it before, I'm not mad at him for even requesting it. Same way I get mad at people who support Nintendo when they do their bullshit. Same mentality.
I do like that his top supporter so far on this Give Send Go is the name Alec Baldwin's Finger, who donated 6,969 US dollars.
Oh my god.
Followed
And
in
that's
second
such
place by none other than Minecraft creator Notch.
okay. I mean, I know that name. I didn't realize he's in that sphere, but okay.
Yep. So yes. Alec Baldwin's Finger. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Give it a meme amount. So some guy's got a lot of fucking money to meme with. That's for goddamn sure.
but to me, when you said that amount, it sounds like someone that's probably they're not as well off as you think, and they're probably donating way more than they should.
I mean, probably anyone. Oh, I mean, let's face it. A lot of people who are doing this are probably donating more than they should. But
Well,
there's
yes.
there's a culture war to be fought, Bry. So, yes, that is where it stands. And besides a lot of fighting back and forth, like Smash did, like a thread of trying to debunk everything Alyssa has said that got reported and taken down. Just all the usual bullshit between those two going back
Yeah.
and forth still. So, but yeah, that's the only real thing of substance. As always, we will keep track of how this goes. It is infinitely interesting, and for YouTubers like us, could have some real repercussions. So, time will tell.
I still say we throw our names out there as peer mediators. Let them settle whatever, and let us be the mediators for their case, and we decide for them. And they just have to buy a spear. That's all I'm saying.
Look, we work cheap, all right?
Just saying. Just don't get
Right.
us Bojangles, get us some beer, and we're good.
Right. He may call her a whore, but we're the real whores, all right?
And Jim, you know me. I love a good matchup. I love a good war, and I love a good bracket.
You
And
know,
something
Brian, you
you
know what I
added
like? I
here,
like moving on from the heavy shit.
yes, and you added in something that always tugs at my heartstrings. As a huge fan of brackets, as a huge fan of just competitions, we've done it enough ourselves. From Retrododo.com. There was over 52,000 retro gamers who voted and chose the best retro console of all time. Now, quickly, I'm going to run through what the consoles were that competed, and I have the picture up. But if you're listening on audio, you had the N64, the Genesis, the Master System, Atari 2600, the Xbox, the Wii, the GameCube, Dreamcast, PS2, NES, Xbox 360, PS1, the Commodore 64, the ZX Spectrum, fuck your Zeds, and the Super NES and the Saturn. Jim, does a piece of your heart hurt when you see Xbox 360 listed as a retro console?
Right.
Before we talk anything else, I saw that entry and I went, it hurt enough to see the Xbox and PS2. I accepted it. But to see the 360, I went, that one stung a little bit because there's no PS3 on here. There, like it just that one stung. I don't know why.
You know what? Maybe they put a hard 20-year cap on it, Brian. Because as we all know, the Xbox 360 came out in 2005.
I maybe, but
Right.
yeah,
Just accept we're old. It's over.
I don't want to, Jim. I just don't want to. I want to
Right.
fight against the
I
dying of the light.
Right. We're on the verge almost because if you look at old gaming magazines during the end of the Super NES era, they were calling the NES retro. and that was maybe a 9 year gap. So
Yep.
we're almost at the point where technically, I know a lot of people fight it. A lot of people in the retrosphere say anything past the Dreamcast is retro, and it's like, grow up.
No, yeah, I
We're
know.
almost at the phase where like the launch Xbox One, give it like 3, 5 years, that's gonna be retro. Just
Yeah,
accept it.
I know.
It's
I
over.
know.
The dream's dead,
But I
and
do
soon
love
will
a good
we.
competition, and I guess we'll just say the final four of this one. I first want to mention that, and then I want to go through any ones that really surprised you. But with our final four, you had the
Bribe,
N64.
actually, bribe. Sorry to shut your
Go
mouth.
on.
Any anything you're surprised didn't make the list?
Well, I personally, I agree with 360 being on there in lieu of PS3 because I honestly think PS3 was only as popular as it was for Blu-ray. I still think 360 was a better console. So I agree with that decision. Um, I'm okay not having any handhelds because that's what it seems to be leaning anyway. Like, just don't do handhelds, period.
Yeah.
Um, no, I mean, they had the Atari 2600. I wouldn't have put in any of the other Ataris on there. Um, I'm kind of surprised to see the Master System. I feel like there is a system out there that I'm not thinking of that I'm like, really? And I know Master System's huge in Brazil. Great. Have your soccer and have your Master
And Europe.
System.
And
But
Europe. It was big in Europe.
once again, have your soccer and your Master System. Um, no, I think it's a pretty solid list. No, was there any systems you thought were a clear miss?
Yeah, you know what? You touched on it outside of maybe including the Game Boy because you couldn't really put the Game Gear. It would get trounced. But I think if anything should come off, it would maybe either be the Wii or the 360 and you put Game Boy. But outside of that, like the Turbo would have been killed. It wouldn't have been a competition. You can't do the CDI or the 3DO or shit like that. So I'm actually kind of, I would say this is a very solid bracket that they put together here.
It's very solid, however,
The
there's
placement,
clearly
the placement and
yes.
matches are weird.
The
I
the
think they
seating is
tried,
so fucked up.
like in some ways, they tried to do old versus new in all the new ones, but then like C64 versus the Spectrum, like they just threw all the Euro shit together.
They really wanted one of those to move on. They're like, all right, at least one of them's getting to the next one. Where I'm like, yeah, that they clearly didn't. I mean, objectively, take your love out of all this. I guess let's just first real quick announce because people are already seeing it. The PS2 won it, and it went up against the N64. Kind of kind of shocked, I guess, based on who the N64's who it went against. It was obviously going to win in that situation. But if I was going to pick a final four, my top four seeds in this particular one, it would have been PS2, NES, probably. I guess N64 still probably for nostalgia's sake would make it up there. Mm. As much as I would love the see the 360, I kind of feel like Super NES might do it too, just because of how much it's loved. Like, I feel like those four should have been your top four seeds. And to your point, like some of these matchup, like Atari 2600 versus Master System. Are you fucking kidding me? That's a weird seeding, in my opinion. Um, was your most angry matchup? The very first matchup, Jim?
The
Did it break your heart immediately when you saw that?
very first matchup was N64 versus Sega Genesis. Almost seemingly made for fucking of me, for my
But here's the
fucking.
question though. Are you a little surprised? Like I know the love for the N64. There's rose tinted glasses with that system. And you and I love it. It's still a great party system. Didn't you part of you think like I could have seen the Genesis pulling through that one?
Yeah, I mean, especially for what I'm assuming is a more Euro focused list. Maybe not. Maybe it's just very fair to them. But yeah, I'm almost shocked it didn't because I will say objectively, the Genesis has a more solid library.
Yeah.
So
More memorable games from the N64. I mean, here's the problem. N64 lives and dies by Ocarina of Time. I'm gonna say that. I will. And that in Mario 64, I don't even know if people would try to argue with me on that, but I think that overrides so much. So like
And I
that
mean,
killed it.
Mario Kart and GoldenEye were just like
Oh
the
yeah.
kings of local co-op
Yeah.
multiplayer.
Smash, Party, like all those games. It was the party machine. If you liked wrestling, N64 or even PlayStation. So like
If you had
it covered enough
friends, it
bases.
was the
Yeah.
most fun console of all time.
Yeah.
And if you grew up back then, you might not have had one, but you at least knew someone who had one and you would always hang out there to play it. Not to say you want to go home and play like Final Fantasy or Metal Gear Solid, obviously, but if you and the boys were getting together, it was on the N64.
And whoever was going to win that matchup, the next one was such a fucking slam dunk. To have the Master System go against the Atari 2600,
But
number one, the fact that the fucking Master System beat the Atari
that's why I'm
2600.
thinking it's a very Eurocentric list because there's no way in
Yes,
hell I like the Master System. Let me get this out of the way right now. Like
it's fine.
I know you've barely touched it. I have like 20 some games for it. It's a fun, cute system.
It's fine.
It should no way in hell have beaten the fucking Atari 2600. Come on.
Jim, let me put this in sexual situations. Master System's a hand job. It's good. Oh, reliable. 20, Atari 2600 is a blowjob. Okay? You're
Yeah.
never going to go with the hand job over it.
Yeah.
Just say, like, just neither of them are the toppest of the tiers, but goddamn, come on. I
Look,
just,
the PS2's anal, but at the very least,
damn it, Jim.
the white whale
Damn
cry.
it. But like, okay, so like let's go through some of the other early matchups. Xbox versus Wii. I know Wii's popularity. I think Xbox is a better console, but I can understand Wii winning. It doesn't like shock me that much.
Yes.
GameCube versus Dreamcast, I'm actually kind of shocked because I know the Dreamcast fans are way more rabid than the GameCube. I just don't think there's as many out there as Nintendo fans, period. So
I mean, Nintendo had a very strong showing on this list, so as
yeah,
you have to expect, it's fucking Nintendo. Like,
yeah,
all bullshit aside, no matter where you live, you look at these matchups and you're like, man, Nintendo, like, you're just not
they
going to
just
escape it.
dominate.
Yeah.
Yeah. PS2 being NES, yes. Should, did,
Yeah.
great.
Fine with it.
Hurt my heart a little bit to not see the 360 move on past PS1. I did love the PS1. I had both consoles. I guess I get it, but man, I honestly, you and I have talked about this. I think the most well-aged console and underrated for how many bangers there truly were, 360 was great. And what it did for networks and shit and just online gaming, it's overlooked.
For better or for worse, the 360 shaped the future of gaming more than almost any console on his list.
Yeah. The next
I
one we talked about, fuck them. I don't care about the Commodore 64. I don't care about the ZX Spectrum. I've played enough on both of those. Once again, their games are fine.
They're
Like,
fun and cute. They're fun to go
yeah,
back to, but you're
they're
not
they're
gonna.
mobile games. I hate to say it, but they are. Super NES versus Saturn. To me, that is the most
That's
obvious
come on.
blowout of the
That's a rape.
entire.
Come
Yeah,
on,
that
come
is
the fuck
such a
on.
like they should have done in this case Super NES versus NES. Like give the Saturn a chance against something else. I don't know, but like yeah, the
Put the
Saturn.
Saturn against like the Wii or the Master System or the
Yeah.
Atari. Like, come on, man. Against the Super
Could,
NES. Come on.
and I think honestly, after that match, after those initial matchups, we said N64 is obviously going to trounce the Master System. The Wii versus GameCube, I actually would have expected the Wii to move on, but I guess there's enough love with the GameCube that
GameCube's got its hardcore base. Wii was too casual, even though it was way
yeah.
more successful. Yeah.
PS2 being BS1, no brainer. Super NES being Super NES had the easiest route. I'm just gonna say that. And Like then it obviously went against PS2, and
Super
I think
NES
that's
versus
correct.
this Commodore is like the Chiefs going against the Browns. Like,
It's just terrible. It's
come
the
on.
worst matchup possible. Even honestly, and then on the opposite side, the N64 going against GameCube. That's another one where it's like, dude, the
I
nostalgia is going to outweigh it
I
every
thought that
time.
could have been closer, but yeah, I can't see the N64 not winning that.
And yeah, I just personally, I think luckily nostalgia didn't win out, and I think it's yeah, PS2 is going to beat the N64. It should in every way possible. It just should.
As much as I love the
So
N64, it's like, yeah, it's the right call. Come on.
yeah, it's kind of like every single time we've seen a top game list. If I see Ocarina or even Breath of the Wild or Mario or so, like, I'm not going to be mad. I get it. Like, it is what it is. Classic for a reason. So yeah, I love me a good bracket. I love it sparks a debate. Your poor Genesis. It takes a beating. Like honestly, if they wanted to keep new versus old, they probably should
First
have did
round fucking
Genesis
exit.
versus they should have did Genesis versus Master System at least.
Not right. It's not fair.
What would have been interesting is if on the same side of the bracket you had N64 going against PS2, like who would have ended up on the opposite side of that, depending on how this stacked up. You
Yeah, or
know?
like GameCube versus PS2 or Xbox versus PS2. I mean, PS2 would have won any of them, so it doesn't really
Sure.
matter.
Yeah. But yet, you know what, Jim? We went from a very dire subject to something I personally love. So, I am always all for that. But now we're moving on to
Right, let's keep it goofy. Let's keep Brian,
let's see. I
we're done
like it.
talking. We're done talking about the niche, Brian. We're done talking about
Yep.
it. Let's talk about what everyone else is talking about, huh? How about we throw I originally had one normie view, but something local made us had two now. We'll get to that. But first, let's get to the internet side of this week's normie view with good old Rolling Stone magazine. And on August 27th, they published the most influential creators of 2025. So you would think standard hub 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 kind of little article here. And here was their top 10. Right. I will list off these people. You will tell me if you know who they are or not. Number one, I Show Speed.
Yes.
Number two,
By the
Drew.
way, can I just mention you know him as well, right, Jim?
Yeah.
As I was leaving my work the other day, I work in Philly. Um,
Wait, Bry,
him and
should I do a Matt Orloff line and say, well, not personally.
don't you dare. Um, him and his crew were walking at the Liberty Bell, and I was just right there watching him walk. I didn't like register what I was seeing. I was like, wow, there's just like a crowd of people walking around some dude, all these cameras pointing at him. Um, it's deceptive when you watch his videos. Like, I don't doubt in areas there's a lot of crowd. I will say it mostly was his entourage, and there were a few other random fans, but like a lot of us were walking by, like, what the fuck is going on? Then I saw his video the next day. I was like, oh shit, that was him, literally walking right there. So yeah, I was right there. That dude, say what you want about him. I see his videos all the time. I don't actually know what he does, but I know he streams everywhere and with everyone. So dude's working his ass off and he's making it work for him. So yes, I definitely know him and I agree with that as number one spot.
And you know what I'll say? He didn't take a month break after the announcement of view botting like Kai Sentat did. And he took a full speed spear from Braun Breaker, which is something I would never want to do. So I will give I Show Speed, I will give him all the credit in the world. The
Yeah.
man puts himself out there for his entertainment. Number two, Drewski, a guy I didn't really know, but he just went super viral, basically going to
With his white
whiteface.
face.
Yep.
Yeah.
So hilarious video. So, yep.
Yeah.
Number three, Miss Rachel.
Yeah.
We're parents.
Kids thing.
One of the
Yep.
biggest names in all of kids entertainment.
I will say full disclosure, neither of my kids watched her at all, but I still knew about her.
Yeah, mine did not really watch her, but I knew of her.
Yep.
Number four, Kai Sentat. We just talked about him. He's on a little bit of a breaky poo.
Yep. Yeah. So
Number
wait, what happened with it?
so conveniently now
Like
his
so once there was claims of view botting.
once the view botting and the investigations went into the massive view botting on Twitch, he didn't upload for a long time. I don't know if he's returned yet,
Hmm.
Brian.
Okay.
So his fans are like, well, he just streamed every single day, so we had to take a break after that. Man, it seems like convenient timing. You tell me. I'm
It's
just a guy.
questionable.
I'm just a guy on the internet seeing things. All right. I'm a noticer. I notice things. Number five, Quinlan B. I've never heard of her.
Nope. No idea.
Number six, Caleb Heron. Never heard of him until this article.
Certainly never heard of them.
Number seven, Mr. Beast. Obviously, biggest YouTuber.
Crazy placement, but go on.
Yep. Number seven, Hassan Piker.
You mean number
Obviously.
eight?
Wait. Oh, all right. I'm a couple beers in. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Number eight, Hassan Piker. Yeah, the biggest political streamer out there.
Yeah.
Number
Hate that guy.
nine, Camilla Arahujo. Well,
Nope.
no idea. And number 10, Alex Cooper. No idea.
Nope. And Jim, I'll be honest, I went through the entire list and it took me until outside the top 10 that you named, the only other one I knew was number 19, a Theo Vaughn.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know anyone. Oh, and Dave Portnoy. I know him obviously at number 23.
Oh, Pizza Boy.
Um, yeah.
I would
So
probably know
of
more.
the
I know look at the whole
25,
thing. Yeah.
of the 25
Well,
out of the
fuck.
top 10,
Now
I
I
knew
gotta
two
look the
more.
goddamn. God damn it.
But no, but as you're looking at it, my point is, these lists are always interesting to me, right? Like we talk about most influential. They clearly have some kind of criteria that defines it. It's clearly not just followers because the follower numbers they have below. And number one, iShowSpeed, he's got 135 million followers. And if you go on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, like chances are you're going to see him. Drewski, 28 million followers. Still a crazy high number. You still see his shit everywhere. Miss Rachel, it's weird. Like kids stuff is like a different dynamic, but like, okay, kind of makes sense. Kai, 80 million. Definitely, probably one of the biggest streamers. Then Queenland Blackwell, 20 million. Still never heard of her, never seen a clip, but whatever. Caleb Huron, 1.6. Like, that's a weird drop off. And then number seven, Mr. Beast with 871 million, the most subscribed YouTuber of all. Like, the dude's everywhere, making shows, and fucking giving wells, giving eyes to blind people, like doing everything. And this kind of leads us into today's discussion, Jim. So, what was he in a little bit of hot water for a minute?
So, Bry, a little context before we get into this. Mr. Beast on the internet, as known as a bit of a, one could say, phony. A lot of people like to say that he's a little inauthentic. A lot of people like to say he's not a human fucking being. If you want to talk about how people talked about Mark Zuckerberg for years and years and years, they still to this day talk about Mr. Beast. It's like he was made in a content factory for the pure purpose of content creation. No humanity to be found from him. And the one time this poor fucking sap acts like a human, drug through the mud. So, this list comes out, and Mr. Beast says, according to this list, a guy with 1 million followers is more influential than me. What did I do to piss off the Rolling Stones? Crying face.
I gotta say,
He's
it's
right.
he's. I mean, that's 870 million. Like when PewDiePie took shots at that one, the Indian
T series.
TV T series, like that to me, that was kind of funny. He's like, "Oh, you're coming for my title. I'm gonna come after you." Like he's doing it clearly in jest. I think no one would actually think someone who probably has whatever his net worth is actually gives a fuck about that. I think he saw that and was probably like, what the fuck? And then he later deleted that tweet and came back and was like, I actually watched some of his stuff, so I decided to delete my tweet. He's funny, like whatever. And you all kind of crucified me, like joking about it. Um, I'm not going to sit here and throw shade. I decided to look up who this guy was that beat him. Why? I like you have comedians in that top 10, whether you love them or hate them. I don't think many people would argue that of comedians that people actually know, so therefore are more influential. You're telling me Theo Von isn't the top comedian on that list? Like, if you want to talk actually influential, the hottest comedian right now is Shane Gillis. Whether you love him or hate him, everyone knows him. He's in everything. Theo Von, though, is probably the most well known. So I'm like, I don't get the agenda of this article. I don't know the criteria. I don't know. It must be personal favorites of the staff who wrote it, is going to be my guess.
So this was roted. Jesus Christ, I'm talking like my daughter. God damn it, I have to correct her every day.
Joycey.
So this article was written by John Rich, who I have no idea who the fuck this is, but there is an obvious agenda. This is a thing that we see with our games of the year lists that we talk about every year at the end of the year, where they just throw something no one's ever heard of super high.
I want to correct you for 1 second. You said the list was made by John Rich. It's actually made by multiple people.
Okay,
Steffi Cal.
this article is from
Yeah.
John Rich, I'll say. So, all right, I
Oh,
apologize.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm saying I was meaning the Rolling Stones list itself.
Okay, yes, you were
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
It was made
John
by a
Rich
bunch of
did the
people.
article. Yeah. So there's a bunch of people. And yeah, John Rich's article, very scathing. And we have links to both of these. Obviously very scathing of Mr.
Right.
Beast.
Right. What do you mean scathing? He obviously has no agenda in this article with lines like, what must suck for most for Mr. Beast is the Barstool Sports and Caleb Herons of the world have something he doesn't, which is fans whose daily screen time isn't capped by their parents. That's got to be frustrating for Mr. Beast. He makes all this money, and he sees all these numbers to tell him he's the most popular human being on the fucking planet. Actual quote.
Yep.
So, but when your content is geared towards, I don't know, kids in the algorithm, if you don't really have a personality, then you don't get fans who feel especially connected to you. You get that army of people who are willing to go to war, quote unquote. Unfortunately for Mr. Beast, 1.6 million fans of genuinely hilarious gay comedian Caleb Heron bring so much more firepower than hundreds of millions of views on a YouTube graph. I had never ever really seen clips of Karen Harrow before this, but now that I have, I'm automatically on his side because he made me laugh with his personality and he's relatable. Crazy how far that goes.
You know, Jim, I decided to look up John Rich. Makes sense. I'm just going to say that. Take that as you will. Makes sense. Also, the way he's throwing shots at people who are on this list, did he not realize Miss Rachel's number 3 and is exclusively for children? Like, he's talking all this shit. And it's like, are you taking shots at Miss Rachel too? Like, that's such a weird, strong stance. Feel like he probably tried to somehow get involved with Mr. Beast and got rejected and was like, fuck this guy. Like, it felt personal. Like, he's
It
like,
really did.
like, yeah, Mr. Beast like fucked his girl or something. Like, something happened. Clearly, he's mad. And I'm just like, yeah, nobody would look at this and say, like, yeah, that is a little odd. You know, it's like when sometimes we talk about that'd be like if Breath of the Wild got beaten out by your fucking flower game. You'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Like, love them or hate them. Influential wise, that's a term you should have said, like, I don't know. There's a different term you should use. Influential, like, by definition, is like, how many people are you reaching? How many people are you affecting? How many people see you? The numbers don't lie. So by those definitions, Mr. Beast would have been 1. ISO Speed would have been 2. Like,
Yeah.
Pi
Like,
would have been 3. You know, like,
yeah, Hassan Piker would have been top 5 somewhere. Like, Miss Rachel should be top 5. That's fine. It's like, how the fuck is this guy in this top 10 of this list? Either a publicist threw a bucket of money at them, or someone high up in the company, you know, pushing an agenda or some shit. No one heard of this guy before this. No one fucking cares. I don't care about his bit part in the Devil Wears Prada sequel. No one fucking cares. No one's heard of them. And to your point, love him or hate him, Theo Von had the current fucking president on his podcast. If you're going with podcast influence, how the fuck is Theo Von 19 and this guy 6? Get the
by
fuck
the
out of
way,
here.
speaking of that, How is Joe Rogan not on there?
Spite.
Well, but that's my point, right? So like, and we just talked about Asmongold, a guy who I hate, but I know his name everywhere. Like, there's plenty of right leaning people. You might not like him, but they are Elon Musk. You don't like him. He's running the biggest platform that everyone promotes their shit on. Like, so clearly this list has an agenda attached to it. And it's like favorites of them, which is fine. But
And
I
look,
Show Speed, you don't think most of I Show Speed's audience are kids too?
right,
Kai,
exactly.
Miss Rachel, like,
Yeah.
so to take all these shots at Mr. Beast, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work at all. It's just such a weird, I don't even want to call it flex. It wasn't a flex. It's just a weird stance to take. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to side with a billionaire, but at the same time, like, I don't think Mr. Beast was in the wrong for making a tweet that was like on everyone's mind. Like, what the fuck? You know, like,
Like for like like seriously. Like, do I think he's a fucking weirdo? Like creepy? Yes. But I see him for once go, the fuck is this guy? I
yeah.
was like, yes, that's human. You're being a human finally.
I saw
That's the most
him.
relatable thing he's ever said.
I saw him.
Why
Whether
is
it
my voice
was
cracking
a
so much?
whether it was a kayfabe or whatever it was, he did a stream or something with Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is a name I know that I don't want to know, but he's another one that's like everywhere, no matter where you're at.
He's such a
And
shit
like
dick, but yeah, go on.
I hate him. From the things I've seen, I don't like him. But in the clip, he's trying to do something with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, I think, ended up stopping the stream early, but like Aiden Ross kept putting his hand on him, and like Mr. Beast literally turned around. He's like, "Okay, we seriously need to have a conversation. Like, don't touch me again." Like straight up, like put him in his place. So anyone who like made talks to Aiden Ross like that, I'm like, I I can kind of get on board with it. Like like if it was just like I said, part of the whatever. Okay, it didn't seem like it. It was very awkward to watch. So I'll just say, yeah, it is what it is. And it's funny because once again, I don't care how fake he is. Is he really putting money out for shit that nobody else is? Okay, cool. He's faking being a good guy, but in the act, he's doing good shit. Okay, I'll deal with that better than you're just a piece of shit and you act like a piece of
Oh,
shit.
but he's actually pure evil because he's profiting off the suffering of the less fortunate.
Jim, you know what he's not doing?
Those
Stealing balls
blindies,
from
the
kids.
blinds should stay blind so they don't get YouTube ad revenue.
Yeah, that's more important. Don't make revenue on the good actor doing. Do I like it? No. Is it good? Yes.
But sorry for
Jim,
trampling over your transition. Let's go. Let's fucking do it. Let's take it on
I
the
hate this
chin.
bitch. I
Let's take it
hate
on
this
the fucking
bitch.
chin. Fucking Philadelphia sports fans can't catch a break. Let's go.
You know what? I'm not willing to accept her as Philadelphia sports fan. I was so tired of hearing the term Karen for so long. I feel like COVID time and for a while there, it was just overused. Like the term Chad, like the term like too many terms where it's like,
Chad,
all right,
Chud,
you're
all of them. Yep.
you're using it too much. But let's be honest. If you never saw a picture of this woman and someone said there was a legit Karen who stole a ball from a kid, you know the haircut right away. And what, like, you and I talked about this, about that millennial post or whatever, or Gen whatever it was. Remember, it's like the drunkest thing. And we
Yes.
both said, look at the picture. If I describe certain folks to you, there's certain folks that as soon as you get the description, you know the haircut. And why those haircuts automatically go with these people, I don't know. But this bitch, like, if you don't know, I'm gonna probably put the clip up. I hope it doesn't get pulled down. But this dad goes over. There's a home run. He comes over and he grabs a ball. Let me just say the first thing. Did he run over to a section he wasn't sitting and grabbed it? Yes. Was it?
Bah, 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 bah. In
Wait, wait, wait,
fairness,
wait, wait.
I think they're in the
Hold up.
same section. He just ran over to
No,
where the ball
no,
was with other people closer.
he was on one end of the seats. He ran to the other end. That's all I'm gonna say.
He was in seat 10. The ball was hit to seat 3. Let's put it that way. Yes.
Yeah, there was a gap. It wasn't right next to him. He ran over. This woman, it was the seats in front of her. She was trying to lean over. He went it. But then what you end up seeing is he's giving it to his son. It's not like it's just this guy running over to get it, which maybe would have made this better. But he comes over, gives it to his, I don't know, the kid looks 10, 11,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
best case a 13
Early
year
teen,
old,
young teen. Yeah.
but he's young. This bitch comes over, gets in his face, is yelling at him, clearly being like, yo, that was my ball. That was my ball. Maybe he was being mature. There is no fucking way I'm handing this bitch that ball. Like, I right off the bat, like my pettiness would not, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Get out of my face. Like there that was my one problem. And he did this weird thing when she got in his face. Like
He went,
I can't
"Ah."
tell. Yeah, I can't tell if he was like trying to fight her or he was scared.
No, he got scared. He got surprised by this fucking raging
Yeah,
maniac.
like, but he's I was like, oh,
No, that wasn't a
bad
good
look,
look.
Dad.
That
It
was
was
like,
a terrible.
yeah.
Like he fucked. And you know what? I'm talking all the shit on him just because there's been such an outpouring as there should be for this kid because kid ended up getting a signed baseball bat, a goodie bag from the Phillies. Like, dude,
Yep.
they made this kid whole, and this bitch got lit up the way she should. Identified as Leslie Ann Kravitz, who was an administrator in was it Hamilton, New York, like or New
New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay, here's the deal. We talked about this at the beginning, like that idiot. Well, we talked about the crusty corner, I'll say. Um, I'm not for canceling people. Do I think she should have been fired? And if the reports are correct, like people are reporting
That's what
she
I'm
was
hearing, that
fired.
she has been let go from her administrative position. Yes.
I don't I I can't agree with that. I hate what this bitch did. I'm all for people booing her. Like she claimed like she can't come out of her house because everywhere she goes now she's getting booed and called the Karen ball snatcher, which is hilarious. I can't for this act, I don't know. Me personally, firing is too far. I, expect
What if she
she's a
was a
bitch.
really good administrator? Like,
That's kind of my point. Like
this is
you,
the thing with the internet. Here's the thing, real quick, with the internet. A lot of people are being like, yeah, fuck that bitch. Yeah, lose your job. It's like, motherfucker, sometimes the biggest asshole at your job is one of the best people at your job. All right. Like, sometimes people can be an asshole, but they can also be a good fucking worker. Like, can we live in the real world for a fucking second here? But I guess it's the internet, so people don't.
well, what's interesting is underneath people are claiming some people are claiming that it was debunked who they claimed it was. So I want to say that with context. You have the link below. You can find out for yourself.
An asterisk.
Other
There is an
people,
asterisk. Might not be her.
ton, tons of asterisks. There's a lot of follow up information below. Um, because the actual Hamilton Public Schools said, like, yo, you guys are saying it's this woman from our school. And it's like, no, that person is not an employee, never has been. So
Yeah, because I heard earlier before I saw this post that it was someone who worked in Florida.
that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. And there was other videos that ended up being leaked of like she started fighting with people from the other side of the aisle who were like yelling at her after that point. Um Either way, she is a bitch. I'm sorry. I don't agree with the firing. I agree with the booing. I agree with in public if she's going to catch shit now from that for let it fizzle out. I don't agree with any death threats or firings for shit like this. There are certain public acts you do that I would say would warrant a firing. Being a complete bitch and doing that, no. I draw the line at that. But I'm also mad at that dad for fucking this move and and the giving up the ball.
Look,
Cause
old white women are cackling banshees and they're awful. But dude,
I
you gotta fucking just stand for a
I
kid and be
don't
like,
yeah, that's my point. Like yeah, I that kid, once again, he was made whole by the team. But you gotta know at some point in that future, that kid's gonna grow up and be like, you didn't even stand up to that bitch shit. Like, like that's gonna fester in his head. Like, Dad, you gave away my ball just because she was bitching in your face. Like, I'm not saying like even if it was a dude, I'm not saying turn around, hit him. I'm saying like, no, just be like, no, I'm not giving you this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like
So,
you can't give up the ball. Like that's like one of those life lesson things. Like again, it worked out in the end. Fucking got to hang out with Harrison Bader, who looks like every 1993 Phillies player wrapped into one. He
yep,
fucking rules. God, what a unexpectedly decent signing he is. Like
yep.
just a platoon player, and all of a sudden he's a starter. So good for him. But like beyond the point, inside baseball for Phillies fans. One, it's like, can this happen in the Marlins Stadium? So there's a very good chance it's someone who doesn't live in goddamn Philadelphia. So of course it's like all the Phillies fans are at it a goddamn again, just like the fucking guy who puked on kids who was from fucking Jersey. Like it's always from people who aren't in Philadelphia proper who does this bullshit.
Yeah,
God damn it.
always. Jim, here's the question.
But yes,
Because
to your point, she should not, whoever this bitch is, whatever her name is, wherever she works, she shouldn't be fired for it. Should be a social
no,
pariah? Yes. Sure.
catch shit, you deserve to be catch shit.
You're a raging
Fine.
C, you're be treated like a C. That's fine.
Yeah.
Shouldn't lose her fucking job over this.
Here's what's going to annoy me, Jim. Since we are in Philly, not that we go out to Halloween parties, that will be a Halloween costume because we are right around the season for it and it's going to be topical and so funny. So, that the Karen wig, the glasses, and the jersey, that's going to be a go-to and it's going to annoy me.
And
I
it's
don't
gonna be
know
so,
why
so
it's
goddamn
not
easy.
reasonable. It's not reasonable for me to be annoyed by it, but I'm already annoyed, Jim.
Brian, are the real victims the female gym teachers because the Karens have co-opted their hair?
I mean, at this point, they gotta change something. They
I
fucked them
only
over hard.
ever saw that hairdo on fucking female gym teachers until the Karens came along.
I mean, especially once you got the color in, like, yeah, there's got to be a study on like what caused the correlation between that style and just overwhelmingly kind of like Jim, who drives a Subaru.
Well, Brian, they don't like the dick. That's what I can tell you. All right. We all know
I
it.
mean, there's certain things like you can say certain things, and you know what?
Are stereotypes nice? No. Are they wrong?
As Philly as
Debatable.
Philadelphia sports fans, I hate it. We talked about it in the Krusty Corner though. There are Philly sports fans, and we have a reputation for a reason. I don't like it.
It's not right.
I'm
It's wrong.
just
I'm
just
sorry.
gonna say
We're
that.
passionate. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I don't like it, and yeah, so it is what it is. But Jamers, the real question is, how did your fancy little hazelnut beer treat you?
You know what? This is tasty. Like once you get over that initial like shock of all the holiday spice, the fall spice in your mouth at once kind of feel. Very well balanced. Very easy drinker. So yeah, as you can tell as I'm talking, yeah, no, this is a good one. I very much recommend it if you're a fan of the old Oktoberfest style. You should definitely check it out. I can't talk right now. It's
You
over.
cannot fucking talk. As I mentioned, this beer is delicious. If you like IPAs, I couldn't pinpoint like the whatever the citrus flavor was. It does have the generic IPA taste, but it does it better is a way I'm going to explain it. It's kind of like salt and pepper on your steak. Somehow some steaks at some steakhouses are just cooked a little better. This one is done a little bit better. I will say though, after having one and then you let it dry, the bitterness in my mouth has built up. So take that for what you will. You're going to spend money on it, but tired hands generally doesn't miss. So with that, guys, we want to say thank you all so much for listening and watching. Please make sure if you are watching on YouTube, hit that notification bell, the subscribe button, comment on our videos, let us know what you liked and what you didn't like. And if you're listening on Podbean, iTunes, or Spotify, if you leave us a 5-star rating, we'll read each and every one of your comments in these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night and cheers.
Cheers, everybody.